Play fair.
When I was a kid, cheating was pretty clear-cut. Like when the $1 Million Man hired the referee's evil twin brother to cheat the Hulkster out of his title.
Is that Dave Hebner, or is that Dave Hebner?
You know, cheating in other sports wasn't all that different. Remember when Joe Niekro was caught scuffing the ball with an emery board?
Something came out of his pocket.
Or what about when the Patriots were playing the Dolphins, and they hired an ex-con to clear a spot in the snow for the field goal kicker? You can't do that.
I think it's the most unfair thing that I've ever been associated in.
Or like when Rosie Ruiz won the Boston Marathon.
The mystery woman winner, we missed her at all our checkpoints.
Why take steroids when you can take a bus? And who can forget when Tanya Harding hired a goon to take out Nancy Kerrigan's knee?
Why?
I guess if you can't beat him with a lead pipe. But somehow, steroids seem kind of different.
I thought in undergraduate school and in college I was a pretty good athlete. But I find myself angry in my gut. Because these are the same guys who would have taken me out. Not because they had more God-given natural talent than me, but because they enhanced with artificial means.
If using steroids is cheating, seems like a whole bunch of other stuff should be cheating too. Take Tiger Woods, for example. He had LASIK eye surgery, and now his vision's 20/15. That's better than perfect.
My eyes are stable, my game's a lot better. I feel pretty good coming in.
In a game that relies so much on depth perception, wouldn't superhuman vision be a performance enhancement? Then there's cortisone shots. They helped Kurt Schilling win the World Series, and those are steroids too. Truth is, corticosteroids can have worse side effects than anabolic steroids, but they're used in sports every day.
He had a 20-minute cortisone shot after Monday's match after his back tightened up.
Here's an even more confusing example. Floyd Landis claims that he did not take steroids to win the Tour de France.
Truth is, I didn't use testosterone like I'm accused of doing. I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything outside of the rules. I won the Tour clean, and I deserve to win. I'm proud of it, and I always will be.
But he did sleep in his own altitude chamber.
I got my altitude chamber out by the garbage these days.
So you made this?
Yeah, it's not actually that hard to make. I didn't make the pipe. I just got the pipe from some construction site where they were putting in a water main.
Is the result pretty good?
For me, it makes a difference, yeah.
And how long do you stay in here for?
Sleeping there all night, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours.
Is your wife like, what are you
really
doing?
like
I'm going to go sleep in the chamber?
She hates it.
So you just climb in there?
Yeah, you want to try it out? You won't have a monitor in there, but I have it set to like about 13,000 feet.
See, sleeping in an altitude chamber produces a lot more red blood cells, which means more oxygen in your system, which means more endurance for a cyclist or a long-distance runner. There are 4 ways to increase your red blood cell count. You can sleep in an altitude chamber, like Floyd, or you could just train at the U.S. Olympic Training Center at 6,000 feet in Colorado. Then there's blood doping. That's when you draw your own blood a month before the big race, then re-inject it the night before. Finally, there's a drug called EPO, which simply tells your body to produce more red blood cells. So that's 4 ways to do the exact same thing, but 2 are allowed and 2 are cheating.
You done yet?
Hey, that's kind of weird.
No, it's nice, man. Once you get used to it, it's nice sleeping in there.
What's heartbreaking is my 8-year-old, his 2 favorite athletes are Barry Bonds and Lance Armstrong. My 4-year-old is obsessed with Floyd Landis. So what do you tell these kids? I talk to people all the time that they go, you know, who can my kids believe in? And what I tell them is that nobody.
I ask not to be judged, and much less to be sentenced by anyone.
You can't trust anybody now because the testing is so ineffective. You don't know who's really clean, who's really dirty.
Were you taking any sort of drugs for that race?
Not what they find me with, no.
But you were taking other stuff?
Other stuff, yeah.
But isn't that still cheating?
Still cheating, yeah. Like everybody else.
So that's how you justify it, is like everybody's cheating?
Yes.
When I interviewed Ben Johnson, he just basically said, look, everybody was on something. You know?
Well, you know, Ben, and bless his heart, he's got to say that so everyone's on something. That's justifying his own means.
So he has a problem with you.
You have a problem. You have a problem of, you know, me beating him.
Yeah.
When we were taking that victory stand, we were on the stand, and he got the gold medal, he didn't smile. He never smiled, he never celebrated, and the thing is, he couldn't really inside share in the joy of winning. He cheated.
You cheat. Everybody cheats. Nobody's in this world is perfect. Nobody in his life is perfect. Nobody. They know that 1988 that, 6 American athletes test positive in Seoul, and they ushered up because the biggest money coming from America. So who's going to get shafted? Americans or Ben Johnson?
I think that Ben Johnson was unfairly singled out. I think that there's always scapegoats.
Is there a lot of drug use going on in Olympics?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dr. Exum was the director of anti-doping at the U.S. Olympic Committee for 10 years. He thought his job was to stop drugs in sports, but his bosses had other priorities. He told me that over 2,000 American athletes failed their drug tests, including Carl Lewis, and they were covered up.
Nobody believes Carl Lewis ever failed a drug test. Do you have any proof?
Oh, certainly. We have just boxes of proof for everything that I say. There it is, book 3. Here's a letter from then Executive Director Baron Pittenger to Mr. Lewis.
I must confirm that analysis for your specimen B was positive for pseudoephedrine, ephedrine, and phenylpropylamine. Is that what it is?
Phenylpropanolamine, yeah.
IOC bans stimulants. By policy of the USOC, this finding is cause for disqualification from the Olympic team for the 1988 Summer Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea. Wow.
This was basically a letter that said that you had failed tests and that there was a consequence to that failure. As you all know, that didn't come about.
You actually received a letter or a call
Yes.
that you had failed a drug test because of some stimulants?
Yeah, it was like a cold medicine type thing, an herbal supplement.
They made up this term. It was called inadvertent use. An athlete took something without meaning to take it or without meaning to gain an advantage from taking it.
And so they made that up to basically kind of let people off the hook?
Oh, yeah.
Carl's story is it's been a cold medicine, it's been a tea, there's been some kind of a nutrient. It's a stimulant.
So you're saying these athletes, they know
They
what's on the banned substance?
totally know. I mean, they are bombarded with the banned substance list.
A lot of people say you failed a drug test, you raced against Ben Johnson, and that maybe the gold medal should go to the guy next place.
I understand. There are a lot of people that are going to go to their graves saying, I know he did it. And you know what? The hell with him.
You really cannot fault the athlete for doing that. You can't fault Carl when Carl's belief is that the system sets some rules and that you need to follow them. And they made an exception in his case. They made an exception in a lot of people's cases. But it's the system that actually teaches athletes to think that way. You know, for me, the whole level playing field was a myth. If we could not do anything to take doping out of sports, then doping was meant to be in sports.
The first all-drug Olympics opened today in Bogota, Colombia. Athletes are allowed to take any substance whatsoever before, after, and even during the competition.
Oh, he's pulled his arms off. He's pulled his arms off. That's got to be disappointing to the big Russian.
Yeah!
What has made every major sport multi-billion-dollar entities? Well, after you distill it all down, it's the desire of the customer, the fans that fill these seats and others, to see bigger-than-life people doing bigger-than-life things.
What do you think about athletes using steroids in sports?
Steroids? I love it if they're on my team. I think it's totally wrong. Totally wrong.
First offense, throw him out. Hell yeah, it's cheating. You kidding me?
Ready, go.
It all gets back to money. As long as people continue to buy Mark McGuire shirts, Barry Bonds hats, we're feeding that monster. You vote for the Raiders by wearing the Raiders hat. You cast your vote for Nike with your t-shirt, you know. Every day when you pick $1 out of your pocket, you're voting. And if you don't like, athletes juicing up, then don't vote to have that done. Don't buy their stuff. Don't go to the game.
Do steroids. Become governor. Be big and strong. No girly man. The Giants, baby!
Woo! Since the steroid scandals broke, sports revenue has gone through the roof. People are buying more tickets, t-shirts, and souvenirs than ever. So if this is what we the people are voting for, why did Congress get involved? They always